but we are here, and we thank you for coming. So why are we here tonight? We're here to hear from some families that have experienced some utter pain and loss at the hands of IMPD. So we are here tonight to honor these people, to honor those that are no longer here with us, to honor the families that are here, wanting justice for their loved one. We are here. We have Lauren Allen here with us tonight. She is the mother of Eleanor Northington. And she's here to share with us.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Mother of Eleanor Northington. No one from the IMPD has came to me yet, and it has been 5 months. 5 months. I'm not only a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm an auntie, I'm a cousin, and I'm a friend. And most of all, I'm a veteran. And I get treated like this. They had no business going to my granddaughter and never saying nothing to me. They've been doing everything like I don't even exist. The Bible says, honor thy mother and father, thy days will be long. She never did that. Never. She treated her mother bad and talked bad to her. And now, if she did that to her mother, she's trying to get custody of her little sister. She'll do it to her. Now, they've been doing everything under the table and the wrong way. I stand here tonight and I want answers, and I wanted them to make it make sense to me. To me.
Ceremony at the end of this rally. But one thing I can say, that Eleanor Northington was a person who was unfortunately suffering from a mental health crisis, and instead of having the proper need that she received death. So Eleanor Northington was killed in February? And February 7th. By IMPD, she was in a church, she was having a mental health crisis, and unfortunately, she was not met with the care that she deserved. And so one thing that came out of Eleanor's death was the idea for a mental health task force. So we're going to have more ideas and ways that you can contribute and give back to these families at the end of this program. But I just want everyone to keep in mind that we do have steps that you can take. So while you hear families come up here and talk about their pain and talk about their family members, remember that there are steps that you can take to try to prevent things like this from happening in the future. So one step that you can take is by joining the mental health task force, so we can build something that helps people who are experiencing a mental health crisis deal with the system other than IMPD. All right? Thank you again, Lauren. Keyshawn Stewart was an 18-year-old black male who was killed over the summer. Him and some friends were hanging out. Someone called and lied, said they were robbing an office at an apartment complex. Keyshawn ran. He fell into a retention pond. IMPD stood there and watched Keyshawn drown. So we're going to have his family come up here and speak, give a few words about the type of person Keyshawn was and what they would like to happen going forward.
My son's name is Keyshawn Stewart. I was a stepmother. He played sports since he was 6 years old. Basketball, football, baseball. Very athletic. Very goofy, loving. Everybody who knew Keyshawn loved Keyshawn. It was hard not to. He's never been in trouble. I wasn't there, so I don't know what happened that night. But what I do know is that they let my son drown. He is 5'11". He took swimming classes for over 4 years. He could swim like a fish. And he died in 6 feet of water, 15 feet away from the shore. I went out to the apartments at night and during the day. I looked at the lighting. I looked at the pond. Very shallow. You can see down in it. You can walk down in it. So I need answers. I had to figure out on my own that that was my son that died in that pond that night. Nobody contacted me. Nobody contacted his biological mother, Shanique. No one contacted his father, Keenan. We all was panicking, looking for him, calling everywhere. I even called the homicide detective that was on the article, saying, I thought that could be my son. Please call me back. He would come in as a John Doe. I knew he didn't have his ID on him. No one ever has called back to this day. No one called to ask me any questions, to verify that was Keyshawn. We had to figure it out on our own. And still to this day, no one has contacted us about Keyshawn. And I'm reading in the paper that man died, burglar, suspected burglar. So they, at that point, they didn't even know he had done anything wrong. They just suspected that he did. And regardless if he did or not, he was not armed, he was not dangerous, and he died in the pond, and they just let him. An actual quote was, your stupid friend, nigger friend, just killed himself because I'm not jumping in that dirty ass pond after him. So, I understand that they say it's not a policeman's lawful duty to rescue people. I don't understand that, seeing as they say they're here to protect and serve. I want to know why they didn't protect my son. Why did they 15 police cars? Do you know how many policemen that is? With flashlights. All they had to do was take their vest off. They was worried about the equipment. But they chose to let him drown. They just let him drown and then took a picture of him dead and showed it to his friends while they laid on their face on the concrete. So I just want to know what happened to my son. That's it. I want to know what happened. Why did he have to die? He didn't have to die. If he did something wrong, then he could have, dealt with the consequences. But dying shouldn't have been the consequence. He's never hurt anybody. He's never been in trouble. Always been a good kid. Always. Teachers love him. Coaches love him. He has many friends and family out here who love him. Who will never see his face again or his smile again. I can't even function. His brother that he grew up with, they were 5 months apart. My son is broken over this, and he can't even be here tonight. I just want answers. I want to know why my son had to lose his life. Can they have the decency to reach out to his family and let them know why this had to happen to our son? Why? He didn't deserve to die. He was just starting his senior year in high school. Prom, graduation, all that's over. I need to know why. Tell me why. They haven't even had the decency to reach out to anybody and let us know why this happened. I want to know why. And I want everybody to know who my son really was. Not the suspected burglar who died in the pond, but the goofy, athletic, outgoing, good boy that he was, that everybody loved. That's who Keyshawn Stewart was. Thank you.
We have a mentor of Keyshawn that's also going to speak.
How's everybody doing this evening? My name is Kevin. I run a mentoring program on the east side. Early part of this year, Keyshawn, some of his friends and brother started coming to my program. The only thing I speak of, I've been mentoring for about 20 years. I know kids, and I feel like that I get a pretty good feel of what kids are like really quick. A very special young man, you just tell right away. My short conversation with him that first night, one of the things that stood out to me was he talked about how he really enjoyed the program, and he asked me could he come back. Now, the program's open to anybody, but he asked my permission. He said, I had such a good time, do you mind if I come back? I said, absolutely. He came back, I think, the next month, and again, he had a great time. I just saw a fun-loving kid, a kid that enjoyed life, just like any other kid. You see things like this happen, you often wonder to yourself, what goes through somebody's mind when they make a decision not to do what's in the role of their job, or just what's humanly decent. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing you start to ask yourself. I always look at these kids like they're mine. You know what I'm saying? Like they're babies. That's the way I see them. I'm sure that's the way his mom and his family sees them. They lost their baby. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't want to see this happen again. I know this is hard for the families here, but I can just speak to the young man that I knew and how they characterized him in the media. It's just not something that I saw. So that's really all I have to say. I appreciate you guys coming out.
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When Black lives are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
All right, y'all. I want to say that after every family comes up here and speak, I'm going to give a list of demands so you can leave here with. I'm going to reiterate them at the end. But I just want to say this. There were 2 other boys who were arrested that night that were with Keyshawn. Leaving here, we want to make sure that those boys have some sort of legal representation and some type of community support, because we know how these things happen. When people are in police custody and when you are possibly facing charges, the police will try to intimidate you, right? So if they are witnesses in Keyshawn's death, we just want to make sure that they have community support and possible legal representation. So if you have any of those resources or connections, please connect with us so we can make sure that the other 2 boys are taken care of as well. We also would like for Chief Roach to have a sit down with Keyshawn's family and explain to them exactly why their officers allowed Keyshawn to drown, knowing that Keyshawn only fell into a retention pond. They said it's not within policy, but if it was a dog, we all know that if a dog had fell into a retention pond, the IMPD would gladly build a human chain and take off their gear to pull a dog. Yes. If it had happened in Carmel, Westville, White Child, they would definitely build a human chain and climb in there to pull them out. But when it's the black child, they allow them to drown. So keep that in mind. Like, there are officers all the time going viral for saving animals, rescuing ducks out of sewer, but when it's a black child, it doesn't matter. It's against policy. So just keep that in mind. We want to leave here making sure that the 2 other individuals who are with Keyshawn have community support and that they have legal support, okay? So keep that in mind. Think of all your resources and think of all your connections, please. We are also asking that we're going to provide a number for you guys to call. We want Chief Roach to have a sit down and look into the family's eyes and explain to him why he thinks it's okay for his officers to allow an 18-year-old to drown. We're asking for policy changes, and that police officers, I don't think it's going to help, are going to do whatever they can to make sure a life is saved, okay? That they don't just get to chase someone into a retention pond and get away with it. So up next, we're going to have a statement from the family of Caleb. If you want to give the name.
Caleb Cunningham is a community member here, and a few weeks ago, he was with some friends, and they were out for the night. He was a passenger in a car, and the driver hit someone on a moped. Caleb suffered grave and serious injuries from the car wreck, and it will go into a little detail in the statement being read that is given to us on behalf of Caleb. Devin Ginn is here to read that statement for us.
Everyone that knows and loves Caleb Cunningham, their lives changed very early morning hours of July 5th, 2019. He was a passenger in a car that was involved in a hit and run where he was also severely injured with life-threatening injuries. His skull was smashed, many bones in his face were broken, and he was clinging to life. 911 was called for not over half an hour, and he was rushed to Eskenazi by ambulance, and the police were not notified that something very suspicious occurred. The family had to call 911 to get an investigation going. It was handled very minimally with no urgency, even though it was connected to a hit and run right away and possible underage drinking and driving. Caleb was on life support 10 days before waking up from a coma. Imagine the pain and agony you would go through having to wait to see if your child wakes up and doctors don't even know if he will make it. 20 days later, he is in a rehabilitation hospital getting intense therapy. The family has had to fight like hell for justice for Caleb, all the while these other teens who have criminal pending records are still posting on Snapchat, going out, partying, and drinking. The pain is so great, and the fact that there is no urgency and the IMPD is moving so slow is outrageous. The people were critically injured, and all the people involved are known. It's not a matter of finding out who did this. It's a matter of doing what's right with urgency and doing their job. If this was one of their children, it would not have been brushed off. No family deserves to go through something so horrific. We need to get justice.
A few weeks ago, we all saw a video of 2 different black women in our city being brutalized at the hands of IMPD. One of those women is here tonight to speak to you. Her name is CeCe Chanel. Please give it up.
So, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't plan on saying anything to you guys, but I definitely feel like it needs to be said.
Take your time.
So, you know, I'm gonna just say this, like, I've been on my own for a long time. Right now, y'all have to be my family because my family didn't even think that it was important enough to be here with me. And I know. Anitra always talked about the tribe. So I gotta play like y'all my tribe right now. I've been alone since I was 13 years old, and my life ain't never really been perfect, and I'm used to things happening, and I always overcome them, so I'm used to being strong, you know? And I write about it in my music. I don't know if you've ever listened to it, but I write about it, you know, and it always helps. Some stuff you just can't prepare yourself for. I don't know how many people watch the YouTube videos where you kind of just watch them so much of police brutality. You want to know what to do, you know, what cases you should know, what to say, what not to say, you know, just not to aggravate them because you just always have that nervous feeling like, you know, that something's going to go wrong. But that night I didn't anticipate for anything like that to happen. I didn't know that having white friends would get me in trouble, you know? I don't feel like I should have to be racist because other people are racist. I want to be honest because I have white friends that treat me better than my own people at times. So to know them and to love them the way that I love them and to be loved by them the way that they love me, I can't have that hate. Even after that happened to me, I still don't hate them. I do think he needs help. I do think he needs to be removed. I'm gonna tell y'all real quick, 5 minutes of my life or less. I was sitting in my car. We had went out to Tiki Bob's. I never go out unless I'm getting paid for a show. You know, time can't be wasted. But I went out this night because I was broke and my friend was like, don't worry about it, I'll pay for everything. You know how y'all get when y'all got money and y'all black friend ain't got no money. So she gassed me up and I said, cool, I'll be the designated driver because, you know, I don't drink. You know, I don't drink. It's not my thing. I'm a wine drinker, but, you know, I don't drink. So we went out. We had a great time, a phenomenal time in the club. We had no errors, no problems while we were there. We enjoyed ourselves. We went in 2 different groups. So the first group had already left. They parked right next to us, but they had left before we had left. So we get out to the parking lot that's across the street from Arby's. I get in my car. My friend is talking to the previous party that had already left to see where this beach was. Some beach is supposed to be out here, and it was like, yeah, let's go to the beach. And I wasn't too stoked about it, but hey, I got this free gas, so I mean, I guess I'm your cabbie for tonight, you know? So she tells us that we're not going anymore, so our plans changed, and I'm all excited because I'm thinking to myself, I'm about to go home and watch Netflix, you know, because the Chambers is really good, okay, and I've been enjoying it, right? So I GPS the directions to take them back to their vehicle. As I'm typing in the directions into my phone, in the dash, you know, the thing that holds your phone in the middle, all of a sudden there's like 5 or 6 officers surrounding me and they all flashing lights in my car. You know, so being confident that you're not committing a crime, you're going to ask questions. You have the right to ask questions. You shouldn't be afraid to ask questions. So I was never aggressive. I'm telling you right now, I was never aggressive. I was never rude. I never kicked anyone, and I'm going to prove it to you guys. But the fact that they can just lie like that and put a stamp on anything, just the same way they did with that young man, I'm not going to stand for it, because I've got followers and young people who actually take heed to my message, and they look up to me, and I can't be weak. I can't let them do that to me, okay? So they come to my car, lights are flashing, and they're demanding that I get out the vehicle. So I asked him, as I have the right to do, because we all pay our taxes, right? Most of us. And he's still being all aggressive, being rude, telling me I need to get out the car. Then he goes over to my Caucasian friends. They were about like 35. I'm 27. I know I look 19, but I'm older. You get what I'm saying? So he goes over to them and he says, "Ma'am, sir, can y'all please exit the vehicle?" All nice and casual, all sweet and sexy, you know what I mean? So then they get out the car, and he comes back to my window, and he's steady being aggressive. He tells me, this is what he tells me, this is what he didn't tell Fox 59. He tells me that he's been watching my car for months, and he knows I'm a drug dealer, and he saw me give some drugs to them. He's gonna get the drugs off of me. So I'm having a conversation with this man, Adam Minrink, whatever his name. I'm having a conversation with this officer. I'm telling him, you got the wrong person. I just painted my car not even a month ago. I just tinted my car. I can give you the receipts to show you that, sir. He's still telling me, he's confident. You haven't even asked me for my ID. You haven't asked me for my ID to verify that I am who you think that I am. So you have to understand why I was afraid to get out. I told that man, I said, I'm going to record for my safety and for your safety. Who has my phone? He slaps my phone out of my hand. Bring me my phone. Show them my phone. Turn it around. Stand up, please. He slaps my phone out of my hand and breaks my phone. So I can't hear anything on my phone. He literally broke my phone when I told him that I was going to record for my safety and his. If you didn't plan on violating my rights, what's wrong with me recording this transaction? That's common sense, right? So at this point, I'm scared. I have anxiety. You know, my nerves are all at an all-time high, as you can imagine. And when he slaps my phone, the officer to my right reaches inside my vehicle. He snatches my keys out of the ignition when my car is running. Now, if you've ever been detained or questioned by the police and your car is running, what do they normally ask you to do? So why are you reaching inside of my vehicle, snatching my keys out of my car? I'm just trying to make it make sense. These are my questions, so maybe y'all can help me to get them answered. Okay? So he snatches my keys out. When he does that, Adam, the other officer on my driver's side, he then opens my door from the inside. He pulls me out by my left arm. As you can see my elbow, I immediately make contact with the concrete. My hands are immediately behind my back. I weigh 125 pounds. You're a grown man, okay? He throws me on the ground. My hands are immediately behind my back. This is what you're catching. Because when he pulled me out the car, I started screaming. So he had my friends on the passenger side like 4 feet away from my car. You know, having an officer in front of them, trying to keep them occupied so they don't see what's going on. So as soon as I started screaming, my friends started recording what was happening. So this is what you see. It happened 5 minutes of my life. You saw 2 minutes and 31 seconds of it, okay? You missed a minute. And what is that? I'm not the best mathematician, but you know what I mean. Whatever. So at this point, my hands are behind my back. I'm laying on my stomach. I'm 125 pounds. I'm still asking questions, asking them what's going on. Tell me what's going on. You know what I'm saying? This officer comes over with my hands behind my back and he maces me. Now in the report, he says that I kicked somebody. And that's why I got maced. If you watch that video when you leave here, you will see that he maced me and I started screaming before my leg flailed because I was being, choked out. I'm telling him I can't breathe. So in the video, you hear me telling the man I can't breathe. You hear me telling him that he has my hand handcuffed the wrong way. You're supposed to be cuffed like this, correct? My hand was cuffed like this on the left side. I still can't feel anything in the top of my fingers. I have nerve damage in my left hand because of the way that he cuffed me. And the worst part is the trauma. Because like I said, I have to be strong because I have followers. The body heals. But my mind, what I think when I get in my car, what I think when they get behind me, what I think when it gets dark, that's the worst part. Y'all gotta understand that that's real. And then I gotta think about these other families and the fact that they didn't live, and I know that they were scared because I was scared. I was scared. Nobody should be that scared. Not as the police, I was scared. I thought I was gonna die. You understand? That's why it was important to me to come up here and talk to y'all and be here with the families. Even if I had to be here without no family, by myself. This is really happening. They are doing anything that they want to do. We gotta stand up together. And like you said, white silence is violence. Don't tell me you love me, but you're afraid to speak for me. I'm not going to be told who I can love because I can love who I want to love. I'm not going to be racist because the next man is racist and I still love him. But God saw you, Adam. Mr. Shores, God saw you. So forgive what you think about me. God saw you. And you know that anything done in the dark is going to come to the light. And I'm going to get my justice. I'm going to prove them wrong. I'm going to tell y'all. I'm going to show y'all where they lied. I'm going to call them on their bluff. Because they've been doing this to people for years. I can only imagine. But I'm not going. They picked the right one.
IMPD, the late 1979 to the early 80s, they stopped policemen, males, was not supposed to handle females because when they was locking them up, they was raping them. And they say they went by protocol. They did not. And everybody that is involved in this was a bad actor from Roach on down.
Audre Lorde said, "When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid." Courage is a wildly amazing thing. In times that we feel there's nothing left to do, courage will give us a different perspective. We are standing here today by choice. Each of us made a decision that tonight we would come together with others to send a clear message to IMPD. We are watching you. We are seeing your excuse after excuse. We see your brutalization of black people in this city, and we won't tolerate it. We wanted to send a clear message to the families. You are loved. You are supported. You are valued, and you matter. And we will fight to get a different police department that will truly serve and protect the citizens of this city. I want you to take a moment with me to dream. Imagine that we had a different kind of police department. What if when you close your eyes and hear the word police, you no longer thought of guns and death and racism and brutalization? What if we imagined a police department that instead had people with specializations that are there to help you with your needs? What if when you called 911 when having a mental health crisis, there was a group of mental health professionals that showed up to offer you assistance instead of armed militarized alpha males? What if you could call 911 and mediators were sent out for loud music calls or domestic violence calls or fights? What if we all sat down as a community and dared to dream a completely different police department? What if we took a huge chunk of their $270 million annual budget and spent a huge chunk of that on trauma therapy for the people that have had interactions with the police? I'm here to tell you that all of that is possible. All of it. We as a community get to decide what our world will look like. We do not have to accept what has always been. We are allowed to think outside of the box. We are allowed to throw that box away and start with circles instead. We as a community can change how all of this is happening, but it takes commitment. It takes courage. It takes time and leadership. it takes people stepping up and supporting others who are doing work. We can do this, y'all. This is not unattainable. It will take getting things changed legally. And yes, it is scary when you try to come up against the police. Trust me, I get it. But together, we are so much more powerful. So I ask today, where is your courage going to be tomorrow? Will you be able to stand up and say that every day Black Lives Matter? That every day IMPD traumatizes another citizen with their interaction? Are you ready to put in some work? Because if you are, we have work for you. We have plans, we have teams, and we want you. We have space for you as your whole self. We have classes to teach you basics if that's what you need. We as a city, we as a community, we can dream. We can bring about change. It will take a we mentality. Are you ready to become part of the we that is working for direct change within IMPD? Because we are ready for you. Okay, everyone repeat after me. It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom.
It is our duty to win.
It is our duty to win.
We must love each other and support each other.
We must love each other and support each other.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 That's it.
Okay, it's ready to record.
Okay, my name's Antonio Lipscomb. I'm a resident of Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm a independent candidate for City Council, District 17, Near East Side.
And what was your involvement with?
My involvement with this Black Lives Matter movement, I'm just primarily coming here to get information. Of course, we know that when you have a public service, any system that's put in place, we're going to have situations to come out of that system that people struggle with the outcomes of. And I think that the Black Lives Matter movement is a movement that could help with pointing out levels of injustices that impede the progress of our police department being able to do a thorough job. And so it's always good to have levels of accountability, because we know that every police officer is not bad, but you have some that get behind the badge and they go too far. And we need to figure out who those gentlemen are so that we can help them find a different occupation, because obviously they're not in the business of protecting and serving, and they need to go to some other job opportunity.
And is there anything you want to say to our viewers as far as your election, your run for council member?
Absolutely. Again, the area that I'm running for City Council is a variety of different people in our district. We have from the rich all the way down to the poor, and I'm hoping to bridge a gap between the two, so both people living at a certain lifestyle can come together with the people who are living a different lifestyle and meet in the middle, because we got high poverty, we have high crime, we have people that don't have a livable wage job, they don't have education opportunities, and we have some parts of our district, we have a high percentage of renters that don't own their own homes, and then we don't have people in our community that own their own businesses. So we need to be able to work with those who do own their houses and do own their own businesses, and work with the broken families, the poor families that need our help and support to help raise their quality of life. Because sometimes people may say, well, this don't affect me. You know, it's not until violence is at your door, you have a bad experience with the police department, and it's at your door, your kids are affected by it, then you can have a different perspective on it. But I'm saying, why wait to then when we can be proactive and we can work together as a holistic approach instead of waiting until something happens and now we have to deal with that as well. So my candidacy is all about the people. I'm an independent. I don't have a party interest. I have the people's interest, and I believe in the people. I believe that we can come together and we can get this done. All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Appreciate you.
My name is Angela Skaggs, and I was Keyshawn Stewart's stepmother. I've been around him his whole life. He lived with me. He always played sports from the age of 6 years old all the way into the present. He's played with the PAL Club, TAB, Eastern Star, Broad Ripple, Raymond Park, 105, and Warren Central High School. He was a very good kid. He was very athletic, very outgoing, goofy. Anybody that came in contact with him loved him. It was hard not to. And he's never been in trouble, in any kind of trouble at all. And I'll never see my son again. And I haven't gotten answers. I know that he could swim like a fish. He took swimming classes for over 4 years, and they're telling me that he died in 6 feet of water, 15 feet away from the shore. I went out, I looked at the pond in the day and at night. There's plenty of lighting, which they said it was very dark. No, plenty of lighting. I have video and pictures. They also said the apartments didn't have surveillance, but I found 2 cameras, did a video, made that go live. I just want answers. I just want to know why my son had to die. You know, kids do stupid stuff. I wasn't there, but I know that he wasn't armed. I know that he wasn't dangerous. I know that he wasn't trying to harm anybody. He may have been with the wrong people at the wrong time, which is a lot of cases with teenagers these days. And regardless if they thought he was doing something, because at the moment he was a suspected burglar, which means they didn't even know if he had did anything wrong yet, and they let him die. They seen him jump in the pond, or he fell in the pond. They know something that I don't, because 2 minutes after the splash, they went back to his friend and said, "Your stupid nigger-ass friend just killed himself because I'm not jumping in that dirty-ass pond." My question is, why would they automatically assume that he was dead in a retention pond? What do they know that they haven't told us? He had a big knot on his head. He had a black eye. I just want to know what happened to him. I was panicking when I woke up that morning and he wasn't there, because my son never stays out. Yes, he's 18, but he never stayed out or without contacting me or anything. I was panicking from the moment I woke up, calling hospitals, jails. I seen the article. You know, I felt something wasn't right. Started calling the homicide detective on that, and no one has ever contacted me, reached out to his other family about what happened to him, questioning anything, nothing. They didn't give us his clothes, they didn't give us his property. They're writing in the paper that he's a burglar, never stated what he stole, nothing. They just left it as he was a burglar. My son was not a burglar. He was an 18-year-old kid who was about to start his senior year in high school. Now he don't get to go to prom. He don't get to graduate with his friends. His sisters are broken. His brother is broken. I am broken. I will never be the same without my son. And this isn't the first time. We had got pulled over several weeks back. A policeman followed me for at least 2 miles. One of his friends had died in a car crash, and he was getting a tattoo of his name, and I went and picked him up because they had been drinking, not him, but the people that was there, and he knows not to drive with people that drink, so he called me to come and get him, like the responsible son that he is. And the police followed us for 2 miles. So you know they ran my plates, seen I was legit, all that. They pulled me over a house away from my house. They said for a tail light being out. They opened my door being aggressive. They slammed the door on my arm. They said I had an attitude. They started trying to harass Keyshawn, who was in the passenger seat, asking for his ID. And then when he told me it was a license plate light, I was like, oh, wow. He was like, you're not taking this seriously. I mean, he was just very agitated, trying to provoke us, slammed the door on my arm, trying to get a reaction out of my son. We didn't give it to him, of course. So, of course, no ticket, no citation, because he was just pulling us over because I was white with a black boy in my car. So, it's happened. We know it's out here. I just want answers on why my son had to die. That's all I want. And want everybody to know who he really was rather than what they said he was. He was a very good boy. And everybody loved him, and we always will. Thank you.
Do you want to say anything?
Hi, my name is Deanna Sheard with the Economic Freedom Fighters of Indiana. Our statement for the Chief Roach and for Mayor Hogsett about the police brutality here in Indianapolis. In a combined self-effort, we demand Mayor Hogsett and Chief Roach use their respective positions to bring about the suspensions and, where warranted, the firings of any and all IMPD officers acting as race soldiers in the black descendants of African and minority communities. According to a PBS report, October 2016, in the 2006 bulletin, the FBI detailed a threat of racist white nationalists, neo-Nazis, and skinheads infiltrating police departments as ghost skins in order to disrupt investigations against fellow members and recruit other supremacists. The bulletin was released during a period of scandal for many law enforcement agencies throughout the country, including neo-Nazi gang formed by members of the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department who harassed people of African descent and Latino communities. Similar investigations revealed officers and entire agencies with hate group ties in Illinois, Ohio, and Texas. An article from the Mint Press News, May 24th of 2018, quotes Samuel Walker, Emeritus Professor of Criminology and Criminal Justice at the University of Nebraska in Omaha. I don't think you can find a single city where civilian complaint boards have made a difference in improving the quality of policing. He posted the boards have no institutional powers, authority to hire, fire, or promote or discipline, which is not the case here, according to Reverend Stephen J. Clay, who was quoted in the Indianapolis Recorder as saying, the Civilian Review Board has all the power it needs, and what it doesn't have is the will. EFFI believes the lack of will is important because each member is beholden to whom they are appointed, be it mayor, police, city, county council, or public safety director. Therefore, we take the position that the board should be elected instead of appointed. In light of Indiana's history of being a founding enclave of the KKK and hosting various alt-right, white nationalist, neo-Nazi, skinhead rallies, his delegation demands to know: 1, how will the mayor's office and the chief of police ferret out and assure the black minority community that we aren't being hunted, made a sport of ghost skins in the police department? How will the mayor's office and the chief of police counteract or respond to the criminal justice community when it appears we, the descendants of Africa, a minority community, are being gaslighted by ghost skins acting as police investigators? Police complaint boards, and political leaders as evidenced by no one ever being held accountable when even the chief of police recommends a particular action be taken. So that is our statement with EFFI, that they need to be appointed. The Citizen Review Board needs to be elected instead of appointed. I'm sorry.
Do you want to give the viewers where you could be found, where your organization is?
We meet on Mondays for political education at 6250 East West 38th Street at House of Legends. We meet every Monday at 6 p.m. sharp. And our political organization is just that, a political organization. Instead of Democrat or Republican, you can go with EFFI. We're an independent black political party. And our phone number is 317-669-1333. Or you can get us at email. Our phone number again is 317-669-1333. And our email is powerisrs42@gmail.com. And you can check us out at EFFI online. Thank you.
My name Keelan, and I'm like, Keyshawn was like a real close friend of mine. Like one I could actually consider my best friend. Like, you know, and I just want to say that, you know, he was a cool dude, man. Like cool, like as soon as you meet him, like you gon', you know, like he just like he bring that energy, like, you know, and he'll share his last, like he just, you know, and it hurt me because, you feel me, I ain't gonna be able to see him again, you know. It hurt me every day, you feel me? But that's all I really.
Well, you feel me? My name Trey, and Keyshawn was like a brother to me. You feel me? Blood can make us no closer, and you feel me? I was just my guy, real stand-up dude. We talked about a lot, we seen a lot. You feel me? He was always there for me. I was there for him. He broke bread. That was my guy. I love you.
My name Chris, and I've been knowing Keyshawn since the 5th grade. We was close. We was always knowing each other. We was always, in gym class all the time. Like, I know Keyshawn was an athlete. Keyshawn was like the funniest dude in the class, always happy, always having fun. We always just have fun with Keyshawn, you know what I'm saying? That's one thing I'm going to miss about him. Keyshawn was never down. Keyshawn always was like the life of the party. Like, every time we went somewhere, like always, everybody was cool with him. He had no enemies, you know what I'm saying? And I remember back in 9th grade, freshman year, I was talking to Keyshawn, and I was like, bro, you know what I'm saying, if you ever need me, you know what I'm saying, you can always call me, you know, I'm always here for you, bro. And I just feel like, I'm saying, I could have been there, you know what I'm saying, or something like, you know, you always feel like you could do something, you know what I'm saying, but it's all love. I'm always going to love my brother and everything like that.
They're saying he's a suspected burglar. How do you guys feel about that? What are your thoughts?
Well, of course, you feel me, they gonna try to slander his name because that's what they do, you know. Well, he wasn't no burglar in my eyes. He was my brother. You know, I loved him like a brother. Blood, like my brother said, like blood couldn't make us any closer. Like and to hear that it hurts, you know. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Does that seem like out of place in his character, though?
Yeah.
That definitely seems out of place for his character. Like, if you ever would have seen him, like, if just meeting him in person, like, face to face, you would never suspect for him to do something like that. For them to put that on his name, to portray it to everybody who's watching the news that day, it made him just seem like he was another black man that was trying to rob somewhere. But he wasn't like that, not at all. Like, that's just showing, like, disrespect, how they disrespected him, and just showing, like, that's just him. That's not him.
His mom said that there were signs of him being beat up. What do you guys think about? Do you think it's kind of suspicious that he drowned, considering he was?
Yes, we definitely do.
All of us think that.
We definitely do.
It's very suspicious, you know, because like I said, he had head injuries, all that. Like, for somebody to drown, it shouldn't, like, you feel me, like the result shouldn't be in injuries, like, you know, type.
Like I said before, we had gym class together. At Warren Central, where you went to school, to graduate, you have to have a swimming credentials. We had swimming together back at Raymond Park and at Warren. I'm saying, he swam with me. We used to be like racing in the swim. For him to drown, he 5'11". For him to drown in a 6-foot pool, 15 feet away from the thing, and you know how retention ponds aren't level, he could have definitely stood up. So there's definitely something else going on. It couldn't have just been he jumped in. That ain't right.
Is there any last message you want to give his friends or his other friends or family?
Message for me, like, keep your head up, you know. Just try to think positive, even though, you know, the world full of negatives. Think positive, you know, and just know you're in a better place, you know.
All I gotta say is, we love you, bro. We know you watching, and you forever living through us.
All I gotta say is that we all gonna be here for the family. We all gonna be here for each other. You know, it sucks to say, but this death has brought us closer as all of us, as friends and family. I just hope that we get to the bottom of this and we get justice for my brother.
My name is Noah Leininger. I'm the local co-coordinator here with Answer Indiana. And we're out here tonight because we need to send a message to police that when police are involved in the community, they have to treat community members like human beings. So I've been a teacher for several years, and as a teacher, obviously the stakes are different, but I've had students approach me who have been argumentative, who have not wanted to do the things that I've wanted them to do, and at no point have I ever brutalized them. And if I were to brutalize them, there would understandably be outrage. And I feel like we're at a place in a society where we should expect that police officers can have the same restraint, where when they are dealing with people in the community, they aren't brutalizing people just because they are being argumentative, just because they are perhaps resisting, orders, not following orders. That's something that shouldn't result in physical force.
What was this rally in, or who was this rally in honor of? Who were you supporting?
Sure. So this rally was in support of several families and victims of police brutality here in Indianapolis. Eleanor Northington, who was a woman who was killed 5 months ago, back in February, and then 3 cases of either police-involved killings or police brutality very recently. And so I've been involved in the sort of mental health side of that came into existence after the death of Eleanor Northington. And so as someone with mental illness myself, I feel like that's something that is especially personally relevant. But anytime somebody is the victim of police brutality, I think that people need to speak up about it.
Okay. Do you want to give the audience information of how they can get a hold of Answer Indiana or look into the events that you guys do?
Sure. So we are on Facebook and Twitter at Answer Indiana. We are also online at answerindiana.org, and we have a newsletter there where members of the community can sign up to receive alerts for events just like this one.
All right, guys, my name is Cece Chanel, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what happened to me recently. On July 14th, I don't like to call myself a victim, but I was involved in an incident of police brutality here in Indianapolis, Indiana with IMPD. I had left a very fun, safe night from Tiki Bob's with 2 Caucasian friends of mine, old co-workers, and we were getting in the vehicle, getting ready to leave from our position where we were, typing in the GPS location to get to my next route to take them to their vehicle. All of a sudden, there's 5 or 6 officers that come up out of nowhere, flashing flashlights inside my vehicle, demanding that I get out. Now, at this point, again, there's no probable cause. There's no smoke coming from my car. We're not outside. We're not being rowdy. I'm sitting in my vehicle that I have license, registration, everything for. So at this point, I'm asking a curious question because as a taxpayer, we have the right to do that. Okay. I asked the officer what was going on. He still wouldn't tell me anything. He asked my friends to politely get out the vehicle, moved them to the far passenger side, and they kept being aggressive with me, kept demanding that I get out. Then he started telling me that I was a drug dealer, that he had been following me for months. He knew all about me, this and the third. And I let him know, sir, you couldn't have been following me because I just got my car painted this color not even a month ago. So you definitely have me mixed up with somebody else. Now, mind you, citizens of Indianapolis or wherever you are, I was never asked for identification. They never asked for my ID. So how do you know that I'm who you suspect me to be, for one? Now, at this point, when I seen he was getting aggressive and livid, I said, okay, well, I'm going to record this for my safety and for yours. I'm going to show you guys. Look at my phone. The officer then breaks my phone when I tell him that I'm going to record for my safety and for his. Okay, so I want to make that's a very important fact because at the end of the day, why would you break my phone or throw my phone out of my hand if you didn't plan on violating my rights? Keep that on your mind. Okay, so after I did that, he smacked the phone on my hand. The officer to my right, which I believe was Officer Shores, he reaches inside my vehicle, snatches my keys out of the ignition that's running. Usually when you're being detained or questioned, the officers will tell you to shut your vehicle off, correct? But you aggressively snatch my keys out of the car while the other officer that was to my left, he opens my door from the inside, drags me out by my left arm. I immediately caught impact with my left arm. As you can see, I've got marks there and bruises there. My hands are immediately behind my back. Now we're seeing the video that you guys saw. This is the part that my friends were able to catch. You see me on the ground laying in between these cars, flat on my stomach, flat on my face, my hands are behind my back. Officer maces me with my hands behind my back, you know, while I'm telling him I can't breathe. I have 3 men on top of me. You got to see it yourself. It's tragic. I can't watch it myself. Police brutality is real. It's getting closer to a neighborhood near you. We've got to stand up together. United we stand, divided we fall. This is a true saying. It always will be. It always has been. I'm just not going to go. I'm not standing for it. I'm standing up for everybody. If I have to stand up by myself, then that's what I'm going to do. We're going to say their names: Sandra Bland, Corinne Gaines, Calum. We're going to say all of them. Chanel, we're going to say all of them, and we're going to get them. They're going to have to speak up for what they've done and take some accountability and some responsibility for their lack of training thereof, or the fact that they need counseling. You know, we got to get these people help. We got to get them out the office, and we got to get them some help, because this can not only happen to people of color, it happens of all people of all races, and it's just an abuse of power at this point. Okay, so say it loud, say it proud. CC Chanel. I'm out and I'm live. Check me out.